Hi, I'm Jen from Firespiral Slings, and I'm going to do a quick comparison of two different birch trees wraps. The bottom one here is the Kakiri Mercury birch trees, and the top one is the Arbor. So if we start with the Kakiri, this is 70% organic combed cotton and 30% Peruvian spun linen, and it's very, very shimmery, this weft, because of the linen content. As you can see, it appears paler as I move it around because of this wonderful linen shimmer, and it's woven on this warm grey Mercury warp, which again, just because we use the comb cotton, has quite a shine to it, if you see there. This is woven in the alchemy weave, so it's our loosest, airiest weave. It gives it a lovely, smooth, silky texture on one side, and you see both warp and weft on the face of the cloth. This is the warp and this is the weft. This is woven in our spring birches design, so you can see the bracken and ferns at the bottom and some extra leaves in the trees. Now this is the same design but in the Arbor. This is a synergy weave wrap, and our synergy weave has a hidden warp internally. So this is 100% organic comb cotton, and this has a shimmer too, but the shimmer comes from the fact that there is this hidden warp inside. It's the pink moon warp, so it's ever so slightly a lilac-y purple moving through to a pink, but it's hidden within these two different green wefts, and so it just appears, if you catch the right angle, and shines through. But that effect is caused by the weave, not by the type of yarn that we've used. They are similar in that they're both a sort of a warm green, but of the two, the Kakiri probably has the warmest tones, whereas the darker green here and the pale warp popping through kind of gives a cooler shimmer to the Arbor. So in a minute I'll turn these wraps over for you so you can see what they look like. This one here is predominantly weft face out, and the Kakiri is weft on both sides, but this is the one with the paler green as the background. So 1 second, I'll flip them. Ta-da! Here we go. So this is the opposite side of the cloth. Here with the warp. Can you see the shine there? The warp face showing. And with the darker of the threads. And again, you can see that within here, if I can focus in, you can see these tiny dots of warp that show through. And those are what gives the impression of a iridescence as you wear this wrap. It's quite a subtle one in this. Yeah, now they're both a slightly thicker weight at around, I think, 315 grams per square metre for the Arbor and 325 for the Kakiri. But again, we think really carefully about the weaves that we use, and that means that even when we have a thicker wrap that will carry more weight, it doesn't make them unwieldy. They will still move and mould and tie snugly round you so that you don't end up with too much slack caught in there. So although they are on the thicker side, they're still going to be able to carry small babies quite comfortably, but they will carry any age of child. You know, they'll still be comfortable when you're carrying a preschooler. The other difference between the two of them is texture. Now, the synergy weave, because of its structure, is pretty smooth, although it doesn't have the silkiness of the warp facing out. There's a very smooth softness to the cloth, and there's no difference in texture between the two different wefts here. Can you see? You get a slightly crisper edge to the design as a result, and it's all one level. Now the Kakiri, you should be able to see the difference in texture between the weft face and the warp face. You can feel it as you run your hand across it, which gives it slightly more of a grip and an interesting texture there. And often when you wash these wraps, it'll become quite pronounced until the cloth settles back down, and you'll be able to really see the ridged threads popping out there. There, so these are both, if you like green wraps, these are both very beautiful, subtle green wraps, and they're both in our shop still at the moment. There, Kokiri, Mercury, birch trees, and Arbor birch trees.